So we're here with Sebastiano
Rosa
from Tenuta del Guido,
Tenuta San Guido,
the Sassicaia producer, and we're happy to have him with us here at Fine Wines International, and we're going to have him run us through a little tasting of some current releases from the 05 and 06 vintage, which we hope to offer to our clients shortly.
I'm very proud to make you taste this. I'm sure, probably you know it, but after many years of producing only Sassicaia at Tenuta San Guido, I was very proud to convince Niccolo Incisa, who's also happened to be my stepfather. He married my mother when I was very little, so that's how I fall in love with wine. That's how I.
So you grew up with the Sassicaia?
I grew up with the Sassicaia, even though in those years it was less known, and even in the family we had not realized probably until the 80s, the mid-80s, what we had in our hands.
Yeah.
And then I went to. My stepfather sent me to make a lot of mistakes in other wineries. He told me, go away.
Go learn.
And actually, I came here in the 80s to study at UC Davis. But
you went to UC Davis.
Yes,
wow.
Yes. And then after, I worked 10 years in Montalcino, and then finally, in the 2002, after consulting for my stepfather for Guido Alberto, because the first vintage was 2000, I started working full time, and it was hard at the beginning to convince, beside the Marchese Incisa, also the estate, to have a second label. But I remember in the office, people still saying after 1 or 2 years, "Oh, the other wine," It's not the other wine. It's Sassicaia's little brother.
Was it made mostly from younger vines, or
it's mostly from younger vines. There's 60% of Cabernet Sauvignon, and that 60%, half of it comes from Sassicaia younger vines.
Okay.
Half of it is produced by itself and goes straight to the blend of Guido Alberto, and then the Merlot is produced by itself and goes straight
into this wine.
Yeah, into this wine. The aging is fairly different. It's shorter. It's 1 year of aging, and well, the wood usage in San Guido is very different from most of the other wines from our region. It's a very delicate. At the most, with Guido Alberto, we have not more than 10% of new oak, and also on the Sassicaia we have no more than 20% of new oak, and that's. I think it's one of the characteristics of our wines is the balance.
It's very subtle.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It's not a dominant oak presence.
Exactly. 6 was very strange. It was very warm in June, July, early June, then all through August. It was extremely warm, and then it changes completely. So August then was much cooler, much more cloudy. So I guess it balanced a little bit.
It balanced out.
Yeah, well, 2007 was a gorgeous vintage, and was very not too warm, not too. We had in Borgheri, what is great is the excursion between night and day, because we are so close to the water, which we were speaking before.
Yeah.
That what is great is the difference in the night temperature and day temperature for the tannins to develop, and it's very rare that we suffer from big heat waves.
Heat,
like
so you get slower ripening and more.
Slower ripening, more steady ripening.
More steady.
Yeah, so sometimes we harvest earlier than the inside of Tuscany. Yeah. And also probably because we don't want to have so much alcohol, so that when we feel that the phenologic maturation is there, we don't wait for another a week or two, which nowadays is less common, but.
No, well, that makes sense, and it maintains the elegance.
Yeah,
that
the freshness, the acidity. I feel that the last 2 weeks after we could stay obviously 2 more weeks, but that will be only for the alcohol to go up, nothing else. So.
Yeah, the phenolic ripeness has already happened, so why wait?
Right, exactly.
No, this is a beautiful wine, and.
But Borgheri, it's a very compared to the rest of Tuscany, it has a much suitable climate for
Cabernet,
yeah, I think,
for Bordeaux,
especially for Cabernet Sauvignon.
Now, is the blend
more
mostly
sunny.
Cabernet and Cab Franc?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sassicaia has always been roughly 85 Sauvignon and 15 Franc.
Cab Franc.
Yeah. But I think we have less alcohol compared to Ornellaia, for example, because of the managing of the canopy and the managing of the fruit. We tend to leave 1.2, 1.3 kilo per vine, not because we like to have more wines, but we think that if we go lower, then the alcohol will skyrocket.
You can keep the ripening from getting extreme.
Oh, that's a good point.
We did a tasting in October of the 40th. It's our 40th vintage this last year, and we did a tasting in Florence with James Sackling, and my two favorite ones were 68 and 70. I was amazed how in good shape they were. I was very scared
That they
to
might
find them a little bit over the hill.
But they were still showing well.
Yeah, very well actually. Yeah, and 69, you might know, was the only vintage that we missed. So
Yeah.
So Barua is a blend of Carignano del Sulcis. We are based in the southern part of Sardinia, and we did a joint venture with Sant'Adi, Cantina di Sant'Adi, which is the producer of Terrebrune. And the idea was to do something new, was to do something outside of Tuscany, because of obviously having Tenuta San Guido or Guido Alberto, it was a little bit stupid, no, to do something new. And the person that brought us together is Giacomo Takis, our winemaker, which I've been consulting for them and us for a long time. And so in the early 2000, we had the chance to buy this land in the southern part, and we planted also. We had some Carignano vines, very old Carignano, and then we planted some Cabernet and some Merlot. And so the blend is Carignano 85 and 10% Cabernet Sauvignon and 5% Merlot. And the idea here is obviously to make a wine with a little bit more structure, because of being the southern part of Sardinia, but still with a lot of similarity in the style, where balance, finesse, rather than rustic.
Yeah, there's no rusticity whatsoever. I mean, this sort of breaks the mold of what you typically think of as Sardinian.
Yeah,
for sure.
And this year was the first year we had 3 glasses from the Gambero Rosso, which is in Italy it's kind of important. I don't know here.